Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So I've just finished watching The Wrecking Crew on Prime Video. The film is directed by Angel Manuel Soto, director of Blue Beetle. This also has another DC connection because the film is also produced by Matt Reeves. And this is what I was kind of curious to check out because obviously Amazon have been kind of carving out a bit of an action movie niche. Obviously last year we had Heads of State with John Cena and Idris Elba, very entertaining film. And this looked to further fit that bill, a buddy comedy action movie built on the chemistry of its central star pairing, in this case Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa, and just looked to be exactly my kind of film. But does it deliver as a straightforwardly entertaining action comedy? Let's find out. So the film follows James and Johnny Halley, half-brothers who have gone their own separate ways. James has stayed home in Hawaii and made himself a career as a Navy commander, while Johnny lives out in Oklahoma working as a maverick cop. But the two are soon reunited when they receive word that their father, Walter, has died under suspicious circumstances. And soon they begin to launch their own investigation into whether or not somebody might have had him killed, soon finding themselves caught up in a plot involving Yakuza assassins and a shady construction mogul. So much like any made-for-streaming film, a glance at the poster will probably make you think fake movie, but in amongst the vast ocean of disposable, consumable content, there is surely bound to be that one that stands out and actually does surprise you. And well, I'm happy to report this is that one. It's hardly anything groundbreaking, but it's the kind of film that does exactly what it says on the tin, and honestly, I just had a hell of a lot of fun with it. So obviously, story-wise, this isn't anything particularly novel. This is pretty standard buddy cop movie stuff, where obviously we have these two characters of wildly different personalities, reluctantly drawn together to investigate a case full of shady dealings. Hell, there's even a bit of Chekhov's gun that is pretty heavily telegraphed. And so you'll be able to guess roughly how this thing plays out. But to its credit, what helps it stand out is that it actually leans a lot more into the family drama than I was expecting it to. Obviously, if you cast your mind back to Blue Beetle, that was a film very much focused on family and very much rooted in Mexican culture. This does roughly the same thing. It's obviously driven by family drama, and it is rooted in Hawaiian culture this time around. And I was surprised how much that aspect actually plays into it, obviously, with the whole code of forgiveness thing very much driving that drama, and particularly, yes, the quite tense, strained relationship between the two brothers. And so I found myself a hell of a lot more emotionally invested in it than I'm actually expected to be. But, Soto is a very reliable hand at delivering these more personal elements in amongst the explosions and the shooting. But let's be real, what you're really here for is the central buddy comedy pairing, and sure enough, Batista and Momoa are great here. They play off each other really well. Obviously, Batista as James, this tough as nails Navy commander, is very much the straight man of the two, while Momoa as Johnny, this reckless maverick cop, stuck in a bit of Arrested Development, very much gets to be the zany one, firing off all the zingers. The two of them play off each other really, really well, and they have great chemistry, and they I very much bought into their little sibling rivalry and their bickering and their banter, and actually their exchanges got a lot of laughs out of me. They are a very, very funny pair, and they really compellingly drive the fairly familiar story Obviously, it brings them into paths of a lot of quite interesting, colourful characters, including Pika, played by Jacob Batalon, aka the CEO of Sex. He is very, very funny and actually played really well off the pair. He's great. I loved him. There's also Valentina, played by Morena Baccarin, who's obviously Johnny's girlfriend. And their relationship has hit a bit of a rough patch, and that becomes a bit of a driving force for Johnny's character. We also have Timura Morrison as Peter, a governor and a close relative of the pair. I love when he pops up and stuff, and yeah, he's great here too. Like I don't know what I expected, to be honest, but yeah, he's great. And so all that is just very entertaining. But of course, the main attraction you're here for is of course the big action set pieces, and sure enough, they are great. Soto directs these sequences with real confidence. They are incredibly energetic. Great choreography, and they're also surprisingly bloody. Like I was, with streaming movies, they obviously tend to pussy out of showing violence, but this doesn't, and gets a lot more brutal than I actually expected it to. You've got brutal slicings, arms being ripped off. It's yeah, quite violent stuff. And there's some really fun action set pieces here, including a fight scene in Johnny's home, a whole chase scene with a helicopter, and a couple of fun little old boy homages that are quite fun. And obviously, it's shot by Matt Flannery, who's actually the go-to cinematographer of Gareth Evans. And so very much you do see that Raid energy come through in some of the fight scenes, particularly in how handheld and fast-paced the camera work is. Yeah, it's great stuff. Really, really satisfying. Now, at times there are a couple of instances of kind of ropey effects. There's some green screen shots that do kind of stick out, and particularly during the helicopter chase, there's some quite ropey CGI, really weightless and floaty. It really stood out to me. But for the most part, it is really entertaining and satisfyingly delivered. Now, in comparison to all of that stuff, the film's actual villain is a lot less interesting. Don't get me wrong, Cleese Bang is still doing a very good job as Robichaud, this this shady construction mogul, but there's not much to his character beyond evil businessman, and there's a whole big plot twist that is kind of predictable, but what I think really makes the whole thing work is that climactic act, because it's driven by the family dynamic and the arcs of the two brothers. It delivers some surprisingly resonant and emotionally satisfying payoffs. Obviously, yes, you'll see coming, but they are satisfyingly delivered, and you get that really, really satisfying final action set piece in Robichaux's house that is just really well done. And now, I've been hearing word that apparently a sequel could be in development, and honestly, I would be down for it, even if just to get some more of Bautista and Momoa's dynamic, because they are great together, and honestly, give me 10 films with them. Overall, The Wrecking Crew, while familiar in its story, is a satisfying and very entertaining action comedy with violent, entertaining action set pieces and surprisingly heartfelt family drama, driven, of course, by the great pairing of Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa. Out of 10, The Wrecking Crew gets a 7. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen The Wrecking Crew? What did you think of it? Would you like to see a sequel with more of Bautista and Momoa's on-screen pairing? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.